So, it's no secret by now, ladies and gentlemen, one of the biggest mistakes you or I could apparently ever make if you listen to certain groups of people on this woke, stunning, brave, progressive planet we're all living on. Yep, I know that was a mouthful, but apparently one of the biggest mistakes we could make is to misgender somebody, whatever the circumstance, right? Actually, as we get further into the future, there are some groups of people on this planet, yes, this planet we all live on, it's shocking, I know, but they kind of like the idea of misgendering being made illegal. Imagine that, if you don't want to ignore your own eyes and your own ears and simply state the facts, we must all face consequences. Stating facts has now become a crime. Who could have seen that one coming? Right? Not us. But this leads us into today's story coming out from California at a library where a female athlete was silenced because she was misgendering in a hypothetical situation. The biggest form of bigotry anybody could commit. It is California, so should we expect anything else? I don't think so. Outkick go on to report. California library silences female athlete's presentation for misgendering people in hypothetical situation. Riley Gaines reacts. Sophia Lorey, a former college soccer player at Vanguard University, was invited to a local library in Davis, California on Sunday as part of the Forum on Fair and Safe Sport for Girls to share her story about being a collegiate athlete. While introducing what she and others would be addressing during the meeting, and before she could even begin telling her own story, Lorey was accused of misgendering people by someone in the crowd. Oh no, what a shame. This led others, many wearing masks and others holding trans and gay pride flags, to interject about how transgender women are women. Right then, the Be Kind Brigade are out in full force, aren't they? A librarian in the back of the room then jumped into the fray, reminding everyone that California state law recognizes transgender women as women. Lorey eventually began telling her story before quickly being cut off yet again after stating the very simple fact that current 10-year-old girls cannot live out the same dream as long as men are allowed to compete in women's sports. This led the librarian to issue her a warning. Lorey adjusted her wording and began stating biological girls and biological men, but that wasn't good enough for the anti-biology extreme left group in the room. Nothing's ever good enough for them. Riley Gaines then posts her response on X to this whole situation going viral by saying, "This is ridiculous but not shocking. A female athlete silenced for calling a spade as usual. They won't even engage in a civil conversation. Props to this gal for sticking her ground. Do we know the librarian's name or phone number? We need the silent majority to do its thing." Ladies and gentlemen, could this be any more telling of the society we're all living in? I don't think so. To simply state a fact now, which those facts goes against a group of people's feelings and individual truths, justifies a female athlete being silenced. You know what's interesting to me, right, and it's actually quite funny when you put it into perspective, this event is all about sports for girls, right, making it safe and fair. So this woman raised an issue that is making sports unsafe for girls and women, yet she was silent. So I asked the question, do they actually care about the sport being safe for girls and women? Do they care about the fairness in the sport? I don't think so. You can kind of see the comedic aspect in it all. And I actually think, maybe this just might be more concerning than some people may realize. And maybe it's because we've become so desensitized to these situations because they happen so frequently. People get silenced all the time. When we see it, we're like, oh, really? Again, and then maybe might make a joke out of it. But what we're seeing here is, and this is just my opinion, a small group of people, the vocal minority, have managed to put such a firm grip around society that they now dictate what is allowed to be said and what is allowed to happen. They are trying to silence men and women and erasing the facts at the same time, or they're trying to erase the facts, let's say. And when you remove facts from society, which this is how society functions, right? It's based off facts, and you replace that with people's feelings and emotions, especially in today's world when people are overly emotional, male or female, you say something that goes against their worldview and they just capitulate, you are removing order and replacing it with chaos. So these sort of situations will continue to happen because people's feelings and their emotions are placed now on a higher pedestal than common sense, reality, facts. We're now operating in the world of delusion. Now I'm going to play you the video of this woman experiencing this terrible scenario for simply stating facts. So I want you to take it all in and I'll see you in a bit. Take a watch.
So you guys are going to hear from quite a few amazing people today talking about Title IX, talking about the physiological advantage of male athletes, talking about emotional and psychological impact on girls when men play on their sports teams. So you guys are going to hear from quite a few people, but before we start, I just want to share a little bit about myself.
Are you going to misgender people throughout the entire
questions are safe for the end. Thank you very much.
Men play online sports. I thought we were talking about.
You will be asked to leave if you interrupt during the middle of the meeting. Please respect the library rules.
Question on misgendering. I'm sorry. Are we allowing misgendering?
Questions are saved for the end, and we'll answer any questions then and talk through things then. Thank you.
This is the library. It will be, I do not want any transgender females being called males in sporting events with females. If that happens, it's not following our code of conduct, and we will ask the person who says it to leave immediately. Our policy talks about treating people with respect, and if you are misgendering somebody, that is not respectful. That will not be acceptable. I'm sorry.
Could you direct us to the California Code?
I don't have it with me, I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
His point still stands. We don't need the code.
We came to hear you, not everybody else.
Yeah, so
Just let her speak. You don't want to be here, leave.
And at 10 years old, like I said, all I dreamed was about being a college soccer player. A dream I knew I could achieve as long as I worked hard and put my mind to it. And at 18, I was able to live out my dream. But current 10-year-old girls cannot live out the same dream as long as men are allowed to compete in women's sports. So now, no matter how hard girls work,
Can't do that.
okay, biological men can compete in women's sports.
Female sports is, but what we said, you will be asked to leave. I will give you one warning on that.
Nobody has to be here.
So no matter how hard biological girls work, they will never be able to be physiologically faster and stronger than biological men that are trying to play in biological female sports. Allowing biological men in women's sports does not create an equal playing field, but instead robs young biological girls of their athletic aspirations. When I played college soccer, my freshman year,
Prejudice and hatred is not welcome in Dayton.
please record this because we will be sending this to you. Can you tell why am I being asked to leave?
Because you were talking about, you were misgendering, you were talking about men and female
I
sports.
said biological. Here, we have a licensed California attorney right here. Please listen.
So am I. That's right.
You
We're
did
right
not.
about discrimination. I'm a licensed California
This
attorney.
is not your presentation, ma'am. This is not your presentation, and you are interrupting my First Amendment rights. I love the fact that you have your sign and that you are here today. But we all have First Amendment rights, whether you believe in what I believe or whether I believe in what you believe. I am allowed to believe what I believe. I could believe that the moon is made of cheese. And you may believe that the moon is not made of cheese, and that's still okay. If you are interrupting,
By the rules of the
the library here should be enforcing their own rules and asking people to leave who are interrupting my First Amendment rights. I will begin again. My name is Erin Friday. I am a licensed California attorney. I am a Democrat of 37 years. I voted for same-sex marriage. My daughter, I think it's time for her to leave. She continued to interrupt. Why are my First Amendment rights not being abided by at a public library? I should not have to be shouting.
This is a taxpayer-funded facility, and
It doesn't
they
matter.
have to follow
If you want to
California
rent this room, you can rent this room and you can put on a
In a
presentation.
private home, you can say whatever you want, but in a public taxpayer-funded
You are
facility,
not
you cannot
permitted.
discriminate.
The library rules
I am a lawyer.
do not permit.
Okay, I asked you to leave earlier, so I'm still following through with that. Okay?
Why was this?
You were misgendering.
You're discriminating
You were
against
saying male, male support, okay?
That's right.
If you're a transgender female, a
I'm
male,
not gonna have an
You are
I'm
not
not gonna
creating
have an
a-
argument with you.
I asked you to leave. I asked the other person to leave too for the other types. So I will shut the program down if that's what happens.
And I'm being removed from the meeting. I cannot finish what I was going to say. I can't finish my story, and I'm being kicked out of the room in the meeting in the library here in Davis. Correct.
I asked you to leave. We can talk about it another day.
And why did you ask me?
Why are they asking?
I've told you 3 or 4 times.
Please tell us again. You said it's.
I need to know why I'm being told to
You need
leave.
to leave now.
Can you tell me
You're
why?
being disruptive.
You know, it's always the same groups of people, isn't it? Bright, colourful flags and masks. Just tells you all what you need to know. Now, what sticks out to me, and I don't know about you guys, you're probably already leaving your comments down below, but what sticks out to me is these groups of people would be ready to label anything as misogyny. That's misogynistic, right? We see it all the time. If I sit here and I say, how dare I, by the way, if I sit here and I say men and women do actually need each other and men should be more masculine and women should be feminine and not the other way around, that's highly misogynistic. Yet in this case, and in a lot of cases, we have men actively silencing women. Is that not a form of misogyny? Is that not misogynistic? Or is it only misogyny when it suits their narrative and suits their agenda? Yeah. Need I say any more? And I also think a lot of people watching right now would say this is a violation of the First Amendment. Clearly, it is freedom of speech is allowed to exist not only when, again, it suits you, which is, again, interesting to me because aren't these the same groups of people who always complain that their voices aren't being heard? People want to silence us. They're not listening to our voices yet. For as long as I can remember, these are the groups of people who are going out of their way to actively make sure people's opinions and freedom of speech is being silenced, all because it doesn't stand with their worldview. They simply can't believe somebody else wouldn't stand for what they believe in, which, funny enough, a lot of the time what they believe in, 99.9% of the time, is based in delusion and not facts. In all honesty, okay, and it really just does come down to this. If somebody's saying a fact, which 10, 15 years ago, everybody was okay with, but if somebody's saying a fact and misgendering offends you that much, that you start crying, screaming, shouting because you've based your whole personality on those things, then I think it says more about you than anybody and anything else. Maybe, and I hope, she can pursue the legal route because I don't actually know how legal this is. I don't know if what this librarian did was actually legal. You guys are going to have to fill me in on that one. But apart from that, what are your thoughts and feelings on this whole situation, ladies and gentlemen? I would love to know. If you have enjoyed, please for me, make sure to leave a like rating. If you're new, hit that subscribe button and turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video. What a world we're living in, right? Yeah, what a world we're all living in. But share this video. Until tomorrow, it has been your boy JD. Have a great day, stay safe, and I'm out. Peace.